you're reading this, do not look for me. Before anything else, I need to make one thing perfectly clear. I am not insane. For 20 years, I worked homicide. I climbed from rookie patrol officer to lead detective through sleepless nights, broken marriages, and enough bloodshed to ruin weaker men. I have seen drug psychosis, false confessions, religious delusions, and genuine evil. I know what madness looks like. This is not madness. This is guilt. And whatever is happening to me started with Kaylee Everson. She was 8 years old. Dirty blonde curls, missing front tooth, lavender sundress in her school picture with an oversized red bow pinned proudly into her hair. The kind of smile that makes your chest ache because kids that innocent aren't supposed to disappear. But she did. At 3:18 in the morning, CCTV footage captured her wandering barefoot outside a convenience store on Carter Street. No parents, no vehicle, no explanation. Just a frightened little girl standing beneath a flickering parking lot, light-looking hopelessly confused. I watched the tape beside my partner, Detective John Ripley. At first, nothing stood out except the obvious terror in her body language. She kept turning in circles like she'd woken up somewhere impossible. Then, at exactly 3:25 a.m., she suddenly stopped moving. Her head tilted slightly toward the woods behind the store, like someone had called her name. And then, she walked calmly out of frame. That was the last confirmed sighting of Kaylee Everson. The search consumed the department instantly. By noon the next day, volunteers covered half the county. News vans swarmed the school. Parents held candlelight vigils. Meanwhile, Ripley and I searched the convenience store property ourselves. That's when I found the bow, stuffed carefully into a rain gutter beside the building. Kaylee's bright red bow. Pinned to it was a handwritten note. Do not look for me. The handwriting didn't belong to a child. That should have been my warning. The investigation spiraled after that. Hours later, after search teams abandoned the area for the night, I finally drove home exhausted enough to barely think straight. The next morning, someone left a package on my doorstep. No return address, no markings, just a plain cardboard box. Halfway to the station, I heard ticking coming from inside it. I immediately called the bomb squad. Turns out it wasn't a bomb. Inside the box was a child's severed finger attached to a kitchen timer. Kaylee's finger. That's the point where the case stopped feeling real. The media exploded. Politicians got involved. Pressure mounted on everyone. And then I made the mistake that destroyed my life. I watched the CCTV tape again, and again, and again. On the fifth viewing, I noticed movement near the tree line behind the convenience store. A figure, barely visible, standing half hidden behind a tree, beckoning Kaylee closer with a slow wave of his hand. I leaned closer to the screen until my nose practically touched the glass. The man in the footage was me. Not similar, not close, me. Same face, same gray hair, same old scar beneath my chin from a knife fight in '98. I nearly vomited. I rewound the footage 6 times. Every viewing made the image clearer. Every viewing made my blood run colder. Ripley walked into my office before I could process any of it. I panicked and ejected the tape before he saw. That was my second mistake. The first was continuing the investigation at all, because from that point forward, reality started unraveling around me. I called out sick for the first time in years and locked myself inside my house with the tape. For days, I researched Kaylee obsessively. Family photos, school records, social media accounts, anything. Then one night, while scrolling through relatives online, I received a message. Do not look for me. Attached was a photograph. Kaylee sat curled in the corner of a concrete room, crying while clutching her mutilated hand. Standing over her, smiling directly into the camera, was me again. Except this version of me looked wrong. His eyes were pitch black, his smile stretched too wide, like someone wearing my face incorrectly. Another message followed immediately. Do not look for us. I traced the account instantly. Nothing. Fake email, fake IP, completely scrubbed. But while examining the profile, I noticed something horrifying. Hours before the police publicly confirmed the severed finger belonged to Kaylee, this account had already posted. Rest in peace, Kaylee. Whoever ran it knew before we did. I should have gone to Ripley. Instead, I tried communicating with it. Who are you? I typed. The message was instantly marked seen. Then nothing. I sat staring at the screen while the ticking from my wall clock filled the room. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Then, suddenly someone pounded on my front door. 2 hours had passed. I swear it felt like minutes. Ripley stood outside looking deeply uncomfortable. He told me they couldn't locate the VHS tape. He told me forensic analysts had found fingerprints. And then he asked me to come back to the station with him. Not requested. Asked. The way cops do when they're trying not to escalate things too quickly. I knew then they suspected me. Maybe they already had enough evidence to arrest me. Maybe the fingerprints matched. Maybe whoever was framing me wanted me cornered. Ripley kept talking while my heartbeat thundered in my ears. I barely heard him anymore. Then I noticed something strange. My back door stood slightly open. I hadn't opened it. Ripley didn't notice. But I understood immediately. It was an invitation. Or a warning. Maybe both. I told Ripley I'd meet him outside after getting dressed. Instead, the second he returned to his car, I left through the back and disappeared into the woods. I walked for hours. No destination, no plan, only panic. The deeper into the woods I traveled, The stranger, everything felt. Sounds became muffled. Time blurred strangely. My thoughts felt sticky and slow. Then, eventually, I saw the convenience store again. The same parking lot from the tape, the same flickering light, and standing beneath it, Kaylee, alive, alone, confused. Exactly like the footage. My relief nearly brought me to my knees. I stepped behind the trees instinctively, watching her carefully. She looked frightened, lost. I called her name softly. She turned toward me immediately. Then I raised my hand and waved her closer, exactly like the man in the tape had done. That realization hit me too late, because suddenly I understood. The footage wasn't showing someone pretending to be me. It was me. Somehow, somewhen, I should have run. Instead, I took her hand. And now we're somewhere safe. She sleeps most of the day. Sometimes she cries and asks for her parents, but I'm protecting her until I figure out what's happening to us. Because something is wrong with time here. Wrong with memory. Sometimes I catch Kaylee staring at me strangely, like she recognizes me from somewhere else. And sometimes, late at night, I wake to the sound of a VHS tape rewinding by itself somewhere in the dark. So believe whatever you want about me. Call me insane. Call me a murderer. But I swear to God, I am trying to save her. Until I understand what's hunting us, please, do not look for me.